Oh my god, it's showing me the jail cell. When we left off, we were helping our client. Make sure that's capturing. Bum 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 ba bum 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 ba. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Welcome back to the stream. It's 9 p.m. and we're getting started now. When we left off, I did the whole investigation segment of Case 4, The Greatest Attorney Chronicles, and I was in the jail cell. I agreed to defend... What's his name? I don't know what his name is. The guy. The Japanese guy. The Japanese bookworm guy. I agreed to defend him in court. And so, that's what I'm gonna do. Bing, bada bing, bada boom. Let's get this started. February 20th, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? I mean, it is our job. We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but she just pointed out to the person in the dock, it may well be his or her only one and only time in court. And it could be life-changing. Warm-up dialogue while I get into the flow of the stream while the viewers roll in. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! I don't know. Who is this? Oh, okay, it's this guy. Frick. What was his voice? Good morning! Good morning! Uncle Grandpa! He's not Uncle Grandpa. We're not doing that. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Good morning! Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say. Stop it. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. I don't remember what I was doing I was doing some very manic... Dude, look at his eyes. The dude has not slept since they put him in jail. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wing, Scoob. This guy's just basically just Japanese Shaggy. Not really, but... And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so... literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives! My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm... too terrified to trouble! Okay, buddy. I feel like I'm not talking loud enough. Blah, 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 blah. Scream into the mic! Ah! Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this! I can't take it! Although, welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera, there were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence, then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Von Zeeks is Is that right, Miss Susada? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Von Zeeks was on the front page of every one. I knew it. Except I didn't know it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeeks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves in here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon, for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us! Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Oof! He is pretty unlucky, like, he just happens to be at that murder scene when the first murder happens and then get pinned on it. His friend who he's traveling with to England just happens to die. And then both trials he's in just happen to be with the Reaper of the Bailey. Unluckiest character. Mr. Ordinary Man. Wait, what account are you on? Who is this? Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? Oops, wrong account. Oh, hey, babe. Hey. Are you Mr. Ordinary Man, Jack? Do you have another account that I don't know about? But the least lucky lawyer alive! That's what I was just saying. He's very unlucky. But he knows how to win trials. Well, let's not forget. Oh, why were you logged into your friend's account? That it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, D&D. Oh, were you guys like streaming D&D or something? Oh, benevolent welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Oh, no, you logged into D&D Beyond through the Twitch integration. Yeah, I gotcha. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Okay, wait, what is happening? I mean, this is all just like precursor dialogue to the trial. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. I am in your debt forever! I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as you live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. He does. Why? I felt like he was gonna kiss Susato there. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. My accent's a little rusty. Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes! This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. He has such strange mannerisms. Very, like Larry, kind of Larry Butts-esque, but like even more. In my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last, just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. 20th February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Is that Bruce Fairplay in the fucking jury? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. I'm going to start every trial with that sentence. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato said. After all, our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Oh god, he's already pouring the drink. Hold on. I'm back. The drink bit can only last so long. I'm out of the drink. I've got what's left in a cup. The bit of me going and getting up and getting a pink drink that you can't see because I don't have a webcam on. Very, very funny. Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate violent end. I'll just have to buy more drink before case 5. Or before next year, I don't know. Well, are you going to cheers or not? I'm waiting. Thank you, counsel. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, why does this drink taste better than usual? I think it's because all the fizz is gone. Actually, I'm liking it. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'll have some of the pink drink too. Kirk, I'm playing Ace Attorney. What are you doing? I mean, I guess you could talk, but I guess I could get on call with you. I'd have to boot up Discord then. Are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as the impartial members of the public? Pink lean! Balls? What? Oh, are you drinking lean over there, Fancy? May I have some? It is Bruce Fairplay. Oh no. You never know when you might be down on your luck. But I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. Why did her mouth not move? Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. Oh god, this lady again? I'm afraid to... Wait! No! Why is she one of the jurors? She's involved! What the fuck? What is happening? Why is she on the jury? Oh no. No, not the pufferfish lady. No. Not the pufferfish lady. I hate her. I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that Mustache Boner did the deed. Your opening line! Oh, God. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it I like this guy's design. I like his big bushy mustache. I like his, like... I don't know, he's cool. I like this guy's design, too. He looks like a little, like, gnome man. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Walt, wait. Oh, God. Frickin' Porky Puffer lady being on the jury bench fills me with so much fear. Why? How does she like, there's a fucking million people in London. How does she happen to be on the bar? Your opening, and Bruce Fairplay, too. Like, there's some sus stuff going on here. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Sheets. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Oh my God, okay. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime. I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at the subtle complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh God, everyone on this bar is racist. Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. I haven't even spoken yet. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. So we got one guy that just can't hear anything, one girl that's racist, Bruce Fairplay, the awful domestic abuser maid, and then a black dude who seems based, but he's also, like, ready to vote already. So, I don't know. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollowed chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Oh. Not who I expected to be the first witness, but I guess it makes sense. It's like, he's like the gumshoe. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? He is new gumshoe, Emma, yeah. What is this? Oh, right, that's the victim. I forgot she looks very goofy. Okay, so wait. Who do I have in my roster of, like, characters? Buzz Gregson. I like him without the hat. He actually has kind of a good look. Da-da. Frickin' Joan Garrison is on the jury board. Nice, Kirk. Frickin' Joan Garrison is on the jury board. This is awful. Olive Green. Nice name. Oh, right, she's alive. The victim is thought to be a woman in her young 20s by named Olive Green. Am I severely drunk too? I don't know. Interesting to hear you're very drunk, Kirk. I kind of wanted to come over, but storms and shit. I beg your pardon, Inspector? Thought to be? Yes, having been stabbed in the back by an attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now. She's been comatose ever since. What? They don't even know who she is for sure? Yeah, a non-murder case. For now, at least. Comatose. I see. but her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Not having too much to eat or drink today. Sir, I'm drunk too. If I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. It's Chew Monday, isn't it? Luckily, the young lady's life was spared and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch, that big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. The heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? The accused looks like he's about to write some bomb-ass poetry and then drink himself to death. Well, he is a poet, actually. He's a writer of haikus, who came to England to study English. So, you're not far off. From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Really? Okay, yeah, we still don't know anything about the victim. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. This moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
Edgar Allan Poe, the first gamer. Okay. If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way!
Objection!
Ow! What the fuck? He just like tossed that bottle into the audience. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hollowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. I still feel like I've butchered the word. Press X to doubt. Yes, sir! You like broke somebody's head open with that bottle toss. Ah! What the fuck? As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility. Wait, that doesn't. Didn't somebody say it was? Didn't the defendant say it was super foggy? Visibility was reasonably good. There was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. That was being a number of old books he'd just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please. You Nipponese are a spineless breed. Clearly. Too cowardly to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Von Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Miss Susada? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now you mention it. When we visited him in prison yesterday, he did tell us how it all happened. As I was walking along the accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another enemy! A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed on the ground. I was terrified. I had to get away from there, so I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. Oh, what do you want, Bruce? Humph, a green overcoat? Well, that's exactly what that woman in the print is wearing. Oh my! A photographic print in full color. What will the world come up with next? I hate you. Fuck you, Joan Garrison. I'm already like swearing at her and she hasn't even done anything yet, but she will. We know she will. The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them. The victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could have possibly stabbed that woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Okay, I'm pressing this one right off the bat because I've heard conflicting reports about the fog. A light fog, you say? Well, not for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much further, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I've read that London is famous for its fog, but in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. What? What is happening right now? Okay. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Hold on, let me look at my evidence. Well, there certainly seems to be no fog here. Reporting officer Rory. Let's check out this knife. What is this little ridge here? Huh? No, I'm trying to... I want to, like, check it. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not even gonna say what you want me to do. Okay, if this doesn't have anything. Okay. No, chat. I'm not gonna make Van Zeke sing "My Life Is Like a Video Game." Chat. Yeah, no, I know it's how you fold and unfold a knife. I got that. Check the tip. Was there something on the tip? Hold on. Oh yeah, the tip is kind of. Oh, look here. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Kirk. Kirk noticed that. I didn't. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. Yes? You don't think could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. It sounds terribly painful. Okay, well. Let's keep going. Hold it! How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend. Because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah, yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But, wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen. I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. You will not gas me. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. Gaslighting. Year 1. Oh my god. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. No, that's not what I want to look at. Hold on. Young woman rendered unconscious following a stab wound to the back. Putting Officer Rory BEATE. Okay, he's a beat cop. Haha. ROLY BEATE? Oh no. That guy's gonna testify later. Just press it. From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition. Comatose, no less. No, stop. I'm slowing my voice more and more. Hit it from the back! Hit it from the back! I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come round before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. Is he being meaner today? I feel like he's probably still salty at me over yesterday's trial. Ugh. Okay, wait. So, the victim was stabbed from behind. That checks out with the evidence. Hit it from behind. Hit it from behind. Dobby likes to hit it from behind. Mr. Natsume's belongings. I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord, yes. There's some evidence that counters that assumption. He would have had to open the knife. No, you can do that with one hand.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. Shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked full to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at this street map again, I'm afraid. Bourbon Books. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings is this place here. Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meersham Street. Oh, it's like right by his house. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the road he would have had to take home. Professor Layton puzzle. Solve how he made his way home without committing the murder. So, something like this. Okay. Well, that seems like maybe what we need to present because it just updated. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would have certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. The most important point Hold on. Let me look at what he actually gave us. Okay, so the murder happened here. He goes out of Bourbon Books and he goes down and over. So that checks out. But that means that if he didn't do it, that means he freaked out and ran this way across the street. And then where were the books? Hold on. Okay. Bookshop's location? Crucial detail in what you've just told the court, Inspector, is the location of the bookshop. I couldn't agree more. So, where is it exactly? You winding me up, Sunshine? I just explained that. I got the map out and everything. Used red, blue, and ink, and I drew the route on the paper. And I distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Counsel. Oh, yes, of course. I must have been so nervous I didn't take it in. The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend. It's almost like you died in a video game. It's almost like I'm going to give you a penalty. No, not yet. The trial's only just begun after all. That's as close as you're gonna get to me engaging with your bit, Jack. What is this? Okay. Mr. Naruhodo, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at this stage. Yes, miss. At once, miss. Sorry I made a mistake, miss. Mommy. Inspector, continue with your testimony, please. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him.
Hold it!
Alright, so how did you work out who the books belong to? You ask for the help of the famous detective, Sherlock Sholmes, to locate the defendant, I believe. Stuff and nonsense. Stuff? I'm stuff! Sherlock burst into the... Robert Downey Jr. burst into the courtroom. Sorry? That checking office! That busybody just comes and sticks his oar in whether we ask him or not. But according to what I have here, Mr. Sholmes was shown to the scene by Scotland Yard detective. Well, that was nothing to do with me. The lads at the scene must have done it without my permission. I'll tell them time and again, whenever something happens, send word to headquarters. Then follow your bloomin' instructions. I see. If that meddler gets his hands on any details, we'll all be reading it in Rand's magazine next month. And you can bet your last farthing that I'll be in there too, stripped of all my hard work on the case. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. No, Mr. Sholmes. Aren't you clever, Mr. Sholmes? That's all the thanks I'll be getting. Inspector, if the man is proving detrimental to the Yard's activities, perhaps I should step in and deal with him. Ah! It appears Inspector Gregson is lost for words. Yes, the Reaper's words carry a lot of weight, obviously. Anyway, the point is this. That little Japanese bloke's already admitted it. He's admitted that those books all over the pavement at the scene were the ones he bought that day. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? If you're unable to sway the jury during this cross-examination, I'm afraid that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed. Yes, they're sure to find him guilty. Oh, God. Okay. So what do I need to present here? Alright, let's go through this one more time. Okay, I don't have any evidence to counteract the fog. There's no one else about but the victim and the accused. Then what does the reporting officer contradict? I'm like, if there was nobody else about, how did the reporting officer see that's the one thing that doesn't, quite check out to me. But it says he was seen running away, so maybe, I'm not gonna present, I don't know if that's, victim was stabbed from behind hold on. Well, that... She was walking down. Hold on. It's good. When was stabbed from behind, the accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. So I don't see what doesn't check out about that, though. Who the books belong to. Hold on, let me look at the list of books again. He checked them out at 4:45 p.m. Some of 2 shillings to the picture of Monster Frog, Canterbury Yearnings. It was 5 p.m. The distance seemed... Let me try this. Hold on. Let me try the, oh, how did they...
Objection!
That reveals a damning inconsistency. That last statement. Damn it, you say. As I look at you, Count, I see your trembling hand, your pallid expression, and your perspiring brow. Damn! Daniel! Back at it again with the bad pushes. That is the damning inconsistency here. Okay, yeah. I kind of figured that one was not good, but it's fine. So why did she fall sideways? There's something weird about the photo, but I don't exactly know. All over the
Hold it!
Yeah, 3 books. Okay.
Hold it!
I'm like pressing things again, because that other time there was like. Okay. Okay, the bookstore's there. The lodgings are there. Something like this, except he would have had to run across this street the second he saw the stabbing. Oh wait, maybe I can press him on each of these things. Hold on, let's go through them all. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes! Very important clue! Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. Okay, it's called Bourbon Books. Do they, like, sell booze, too? Yes, sir, my lord, whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, second-hand bookshop he apparently patronizes.
Hold it!
So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it? That's right. That's the closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings. Why are we still talking about this? To get from there back to his room, he would have had gone right past it. If I could just confirm one point, can we be sure that the defendant really did it? Wait a minute. We got receipts. Hold on. Where did he... Your books. He didn't go to Bourbon Books. Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no. You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector? Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told. So we, haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop or not. Well, in that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it? No recollection. What? According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been. Of course he doesn't. Well, that's alright because I have evidence that will help here. Is something the matter? Inspector, you may continue with your testimony. Not so fast!
Objection!
Objection! I know enough Spanish to know what you just wrote, Jack. Mi vida es como un videojuego. I know what that means. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident. It details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. I said the Spanish words out loud. You don't win. You will never win. You will never win this video game, my learned friend. And you found that in the accused room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume. Yes, my lord. The bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Inspector! Do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection.
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. Dun dun dun. And this receipt proves it.
Objection.
I have the receipts! Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection.
I disagree. I mean, Yora? I don't think it's Yora. I think Yor. Hold on. Of your. Can you hear that? I had my phone say it. Ah, I closed chat. Hold on. Your. It rhymes with lore. I disagree. I mean, after all, what are we doing? Oh, right. I got distracted by looking up your. Never correct me again. I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? I don't remember what Bruce's voice is. My, it rather depends. Olive oil from Popeye. My, it rather depends on whether this other bookshop is. But I do declare it may be I do declare. Okay, is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. I like some of the NPCs that they put on the juror stand look like they're from different freaking video games than like the main characters do. Inspector Gregson, where's this Your Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Meersham Street going east. And there you have it. So you can clearly see now. Clearly. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown! The way he regales us with such witticisms. Oh my god. Send in the clown! You are not just a clown, but the entire circus. To your future career in the circus. Oh my god, they redid the funny Edgeworth line, but in his speech. Grr, you put that glass down now or I'll put it down for you. I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. The virgin fake line, that's right, you are not a clown is fake, but the virgin fake line, you are not a clown, you are the entire circus, versus the Chad real line, to your future career in the circus. True. Why do I feel like the translators were inspired by that fake line? Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Do we ever actually see him drink from the chalice, or does he just, like, keep pouring more and then breaking? He just has, like, a whole ass bar under his table with, like, a bunch of cups and a bunch of bottles exclusively for throwing them and, like, breaking them. Whatever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Ah! As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What did I say, eh? I've had enough of this now. Beg your pardon. I'm literally fucking deaf. Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. Get out of here, I don't... Shoo, Steam. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. He didn't have to pass it. He could have gone down and around. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. The defendant used these streets. Look what happened. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. Ah, on a cold winter's night, why would any man choose? It's not that much longer of a route. Hold on. Yeah, it's like, like that might actually be shorter? I don't know. They're about the same. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But, aha! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. Says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... Oh god, even the deaf guy's, like, looks angry. Fucking Bruce. I agree with Lord Van Zeeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... We members of the jury are completely convinced now. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty!
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty. I love that they all get those voices. Oh my god.
Guilty! 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 Guilty!
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. Not again. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo? No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the eyes of Quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if he so chooses. Very well, Counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Ford? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his uncas refusal to throw in his alley. Plus, the theme is really good. Plus what? Did you say something before that's a response to? I feel like I'm not seeing all the chat messages. Hold on. No? Were you responding to me? What were you responding to? Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. The jurors' contentions. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? Oh, you're right, this song is a bop. Why did I not notice last time? Why is it so, like, boppy? Why is it so, like, bouncy? Very bouncy for Ace Attorney. If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it could only have been the victim. Her voice is changing every time. The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be... That's why this guy's, like... We got a guy who doesn't want to be here, a guy who can't hear, Joan Garrett, Bruce Fairplay, olive oil from Popeye, and I literally already forgot who juror number 5 was. Yeah, it's stupid. Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. But bourbon books, no, not worth a visit. I don't like these guys. Like this guy on the jury stand looks like he looks like he was designed by a completely he looks like he's from a different game than the judge and my character, and like the dudes on the jury don't look so British. With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Ugh, why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? That is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. Make these jurors change their minds. Time to gaslight the jury, baby! You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. Discombobulate. We need to discombobulate the jury. Jury examination. The Defense's rebuttal. For pity's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why, it can only have been the victim. Shoot. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. God, I haven't done one of these jury summation things in so long, I don't remember how to do it. He already admitted himself. Said that woman in green collapsed before his eyes, but it can only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gotten around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. Really don't care. What work do you have to be doing, sir? A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. Ah, the likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. Okay. Go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk, it is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop. Wait a minute. What road? That's right, Meersham. He was on this road? He could have seen where the guy went. Meersham Street. On the map, Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it then. On the day it happened, I was digging up... So, maybe that's why he didn't take Meersham Street across? Because it was being dug up? Let's press this guy first and see what he has to say. Sorry? Fold it? You say? Fold what? Funny old man can't hear joke. I literally used to do this joke to annoy my little siblings. I'd pretend to be an old man who couldn't hear anything. No, what I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. And at what time did you... How were all of these jury members, like, within the city block of where the crime happened? I guess by all I mean 2, but still, that's a weird coincidence. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking out books, and Joan Garrett did too, so that's 3. That's half of the jury was, like, within the city block of this incident. Well, I was picking out books there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh, yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dunked my head. Calabash Road, that's this one. Okay. So Calabash Road was icy at the time. Okay, interesting. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. And I really thought my number was up. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. Huh? Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright, thank you. It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt. Okay. Okay, let's... Alright, let's read these new testimonies and see if the pity... See, Bruce Fairplay didn't say anything. His testimony is just, I'm racist. Moving on. Okay. He said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. The poor woman was attacked from behind. I slipped over that evening myself on Calabash Road. No, I forgot you can't press the arrows. They don't work. You have to press A and D. You can't click the arrows that are on the screen. Let's try pitting him against her? Him. Yes.
Objection.
These two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel. Explain yourself. Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir? Well, what do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of second-hand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Mearsham Street, making it impassable, which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Mearsham Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course! What do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? Must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route to get... Oh my god, hold on. The guy who slipped and fell. That's who our client saw. The juror number 6. Boy, I sure am glad that they somehow managed to get like the exact people on the jury that were needed to like clear him of this crime. The defendant must have taken the longer route to get back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, my judge, sir, if I may. Yes? I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Based. Based! Oh, based! That, like, hurt my... What about you, sir? Who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, if it should be filled in, that's what I say. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds, at least. Strengthened our position somewhat. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. Or, yeah, stop doubting. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Van Zeeks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. I have to say not guilty at this point, so I can see where this trial goes from here. Okay, so you fell, and he's wearing a frickin' green overcoat, too. Just like the victim. And so if our guy really took Calabash Road, he might have seen juror number 6.
Hold it!
And that was at around 5 o'clock, you say? Same time as the victim was attacked. I don't know anything about the girl. I don't know anything about the girl who was stabbed, but my dinner's on the table at the same time every day. And for the record, could you please identify the precise location of your fall? Oh, goodness, it was eons ago now. I'm not sure I can remember. It was 3 days ago. Try dredging your memory, please. Well, let me see. It was especially slippery around about... Ah, yes, I remember now. It was just on the corner there. What happened to you then? Were you alright? Well, you don't get too many people down Calabash Road, you see. So there was no one around when I fell. No one around when I knocked myself out. No one around when I came to again. And no one around when I sneezed. So I picked myself up and went back to my nice warm house where my grandchildren were waiting for me. A sad and lonely picture you paint, sir. You were fortunate not to have frozen to death. Yes, how lucky that he wasn't more seriously injured. True. Sounds like it was very nearly another hospital admission. Or worse. Ah, yes, one more thing. Were you wearing that same green overcoat on the day in question? Absolutely. It's the only coat I have. It took until this morning to dry out properly. Good job, too, or I'd have had nothing to wear here. So count your blessings, I say. Hoo hoo hoo. I like this Winnie the Pooh-ish old man. With his, like, cloud beard. This gentleman certainly had a close shave there. Much better than the old lady that was on the left. Why is juror number 6 on these trials always like an old person? You've changed 2 of the jurors. Okay. Wish I knew how to do a suicide. Okay, you are stupid. Oh, wait, a woman in green. No, you stupid. Okay, back. Press it. You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quite. That's precisely my point. But clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. I do declare. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman. Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if that's a lie as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible? Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are... foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds? I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I do declare that this man has already made the admission. He himself has stated there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime. Ugh. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple. Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit. Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well. For her. Okay, so she's not adding anything new to her testimony. Woman in green. Does this actually directly contradict with anything he said? I don't know if it does. Can you tell I'm really trying to avoid talking to Joan Garadib and Bruce Fairplay? I don't want to talk to these two anymore. Let's try it. Wait, why is... Alright, 3 and 5 are out, so it's just 1.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, Count? Well, juror number 2? Juror number 6? My, whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. There was something in the way. Ooh. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are well aware of all of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection.
Can we really be sure of that, madame? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. What a hell of a coincidence that that person happened to be in the courtroom at this time. Thank God. I would literally not be able to save my client. My goodness, you mean... That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6, who still doesn't really know what's going on. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat who the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Okay, is his hair that color, though? Well, look at that! My goodness me! Sorry? You need a pee? We're not taking a piss break. Crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was, in fact, juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, juror number 6 is just Pittacus lore. No! Juror number 6, the difference between juror number 6 and every old man character I've ever created is that juror number 6 is an adorable, funny, little, cute, little, like, happy man. Not a, like, scary gremlin old codger. The crime scene on Briar Road was where the... What? If that's true, then clearly, the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. You idiot old man! If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming about there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking, wearing such a befuddling coat? They're all mad at him. What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Okay, now he's becoming more like the typical, like the menace old man character. Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? Who said hold it? Did she say hold it? My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but... You'd like to change your leaning, I presume? I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you. And I would too. What? Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well? He's freaking angry now. Alright. Awesome. I didn't have to talk to Bruce Fairplay or Joan Garrett. Perfect. Why are they here? The fact that they're here fills me with fear. Well, that summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes, 2, the noes, 4. So the noes have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus amongst the members of the jury. Something in my teeth. Okay, there we go. I got it. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Oh, he's drinking! He's drinking! Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hollowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Something in my teeth! Pray forgive the discourtesy. Bum, 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 bum. Lord Van Zeeks. It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Eh? Whatever do you mean? I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road, as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir. That's right. Took me the whole day and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned Nepalese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance the 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. Wait, a yard is shorter than a meter? Really? In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate figure. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Okay, does our defendant really seem like the type of guy to vault over a frickin', like... me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway. We just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentle, as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings about town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? Oh, her stupid little ring. The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence. And... old man. Cold man? You can talk! Aw, he looks so hurt! Look at him, he looks so sad! I love this guy. This guy's great. I just want to, like, pick this guy up and give him a big hug. You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question you slipped and fell in Calabash Road. Pray, was there a sus-looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say as I remember. You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw, but I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah! Order! Order! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. My lord? If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the Summation Examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. Ugh. But my hospitality has its limits, and they've been reached, I fear. What is he? Oh, the cape is going out. Phase 2 of the boss fight has arrived. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What? What are you talking about? My lord! The prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses. Its next witnesses? Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions there were eyewitnesses. Oh, God. I know, right. No matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witnesses, no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent, and I'll keep believing till the very end, till this battle is over. Something in my ass! Ooh! Oh, God, these characters look... These characters look clownish. Shitting and farting. Ooh. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Oh, well. Constable Rory Betty. Constable Roly BEATE, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir. And I'm Mrs. BEATE. Patricia is my name, and I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife. Why are they both like children? The Clown Knight rises, right, dude? This is stupid. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. He's like asleep and chewing on his hat. What? No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true, and they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet, I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction. Okay, if they were walking the opposite direction, how did our defendant not see them? And they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. BEATE? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Roly? Constable Roly BEATE, sir! Nothing to report on the street, sir! He's just saying filler. Does he even know where he is? What a great witness he's gonna be. God, freaking clowns. Get these clowns out of my courtroom! Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir! Okay, he's asleep again. How old are these? They look like 12. 23. 21. If you say so. Joan Garrett. She's 38? She looks old as frick. He's 46? What? Huh? How is this guy older than this guy? Whatever, man. It was our wedding anniversary and Roly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden... Phoenix right, where the children look in their mid-20s and the adults look like 12-year-olds, right? Right? These two definitively look younger than Susato. But they're like the same age as me. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over it, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man on the dock. Roly and I both saw him as clear as day. Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established will be quashed. It's death knell, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place. What an unfortunate bechancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too. Be chancing, that's a funny word. Oh, I know, but I still managed to go out for the evening with my men. Thank the Lord for that. Gosh, the life of a London bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to... I dropped something. Hold on. You may well have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without a doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of those witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the... I mean, the policeman is like asleep, and was probably also asleep when it happened. Except the man's so tired his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. It was our wedding anniversary. Roly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Okay, that part does not matter. Well, let's just move to that. Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. Wait, what? Weren't they on the other side of the road? 2 silhouettes. That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road. Well, he's not gonna react to anything she says because he's fucking asleep. And like chewing on his hat. Little baby man. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim is pictured in this print. And like Mr. Natsume. Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that at that time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certain. There was nobody else around at all, isn't that right, my darling? What? Yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground, but Briar Road is dead straight, and you could see a fairly long way down the pavement. And then there's the street line as well. I didn't see any pedestrians. Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. BEATE. Are you quite sure of what you've just said? Yes, sir! As a copper who spends all day, every day keeping watch on the street, I'd swear to it, sir! Oh, God. What is happening here, dude? These, like, actual children characters. Oh, God. What is happening? What is happening? Get them out of here. This is... Cut! Cut the footage! Cut the footage! Oh, Pat. Oh, ROLY? God damn it. They're still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. Okay, it's not specifically a wife guy. It's a wife guy who looks like he's like 2 children stacked in a trench coat. Like, how is that man 23? All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. Run straight over, of course. Wait. So one of them just collapsed and the other scattered something before running off. Ran straight over, of course.
Hold it!
Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one. God. Is anything more cringe than a cop? It's a cop's wife. Isn't that right, my darling? What? Yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. BEATE to go. I was off duty by that point. But a Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very laudable, Mr. BEATE. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. The woman who was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat, so I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it. I love his animations. I mean, I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the bobby on duty. She gets ID'd at every single bar. Even though this is England, where they can drink at 18, she's 21, she gets ID'd at every single place they go. And so does he. These two are menaces. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love. And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens. Oh, please, you're making us blush, isn't he, darling? Wake the fuck up! Yes, sir! What Patricia said, sir! Let's move on, shall we? God, these two are insufferable.
Hold it!
But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? We absolutely could! Us Londoners of exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know! Right? The light from the street lamps was more... This is the second, like, wife in a row that is just, like... Like, this isn't quite Joan Garridib levels, but she is, like, just yanking on him constantly. More sus characters. My husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he? Yes, and what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe. Oh my god, are they really talking about the fog again? Alright, I take your point. Now, can you stop shaking your husband about? The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. But also, he, like, literally sleeps through it, so... that's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Wait, why? Because fog make our eyes very sharp. Can't we, darling? What? Ah, yes. It was the accused, and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the tall mouth, the snub nose. Unmistakable, sir! As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony? I hate to admit it, but on hearing it, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsume running from the scene on Briar Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Oh no, then what do we do? If Kazuma-sama were here... What are you trying to say? I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy somewhere. Alright, let's press this statement then. If it's not related to them seeing him, it's something else here. No time to change after work. Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. B? Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think ROLY looks ever so handsome in his uniform. Suits you down the ground, doesn't it, darling? Huh? What? Ah, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were headed back to the station. I was actually planning on getting charged there. Changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? That is creepy. Oh, no, Rolly. I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. See, Susato just undeniably looks older than both of them. I need to get to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct? Like, they both have, like, weird baby faces. That's right, sir, yes. Although it was fit to drop, to be honest. Just spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. What's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof that I'm a London copper. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all policemen of our duty. Patrol the streets of London. Oh my god, I don't care. Sir! For such a noble oh my god. Okay. But sir! Just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrate my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with it. I do not like it when he, like, slides in right next to her. What a bizarre and uncomfortable animation. Miss Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Why do I feel like they have really scary sex? Like... There's a lot of cursed couples in this case. Like the Garadibs and now these two. Oh, what a charming couple. A little over the top, perhaps? And then, kindly describe what happened next. Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something? Oh, yes, of course, what is it? Well, you keep asking us all these questions. It seems like you don't believe our what is she doing right now? Is she, like... Why is she, like... It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is that it? Well, out with it! Papa! Wait. Papa! There we go. What? No, my husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remembered every last detail. Everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I can tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is! At least she isn't a domestic abuser. She's, like, on the line, though. Like, look at how much she's been, like, tugging at his clothes. Like, she's not there yet. But that's what I was saying earlier. She's, like, she's a few steps removed from Joan Garrett. These two are just a few steps removed from... That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that ROLY will. I don't like these characters. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Beat. Might that appease you? I like that she's adding shit that we can contradict in her testimony without us doing anything. We literally just pressed her too many times, and she's like, I'm gonna add information. Wouldn't it, darling? See, I don't think they're cute. I just find them scary, to be honest. She reminds me of, what was her name from Turnabout Big Top? Regina? The blonde girl from Turnabout Big Top. Okay, what are the names of the 4 books then? Wait, 4? Those purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question. After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I am a proud policeman's wife. Yeah, Regina, that's what I thought. Ragina. I'm a proud I did it for ROLY. Okay. What was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know, ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime. These two. Well, Miss Beach, seeing as you've regaled us with your boring testimony of your powers of recollection, give us the titles of the books. There was The Picture of Monsieur Somebody or Other, and, What's it, yearnings? And there was, a meal for someone, and the last one was definitely dingamies something. You see? Yes, I see there are one or two holes in your memory. Oh well, they were along those lines. There were indeed books found at the scenes with titles along those lines. Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. What the hell? What, huh? Anyone who upsets my position will have me to answer to! God. Back to sleep. Oh my god. Terrifying. See, even he's terrified by them. Okay, okay, but 4 books. There's not 4 books. There's 3 in the picture. And I love that we got her to add that to her testimony just by, like, pressing her earlier statement. No, I do that every time. Back.
Objection.
Objection. So, you're saying there were 4 books? That's right. I remembered all of them. The picture of Monsieur somebody. What's it? Okay, I don't care. Dumb amalgamations of titles. I'm sorry, Miss Beat. Mrs. Beat. But there was a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no! What flaw? Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. What? Have a good look at this. Look at this photograph! As you can clearly see, there are only 3 books. But, no, that can't be. I saw them. I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me. Sorry? It's that big old lump of a dead body. The lady's so large her corpse is blocking the view of the 4th book, that's all. Let's at least try to remember that the poor woman isn't dead, even if we're insulting her size. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But Mr. Natsume could not possibly have dropped the 4 books you described. Why not? Fascinating. And from your assured tone, is something you can readily substantiate with evidence, I presume? Evidence. Dum 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 bum. Counsel, will you present evidence to substantiate your claim? What proof do you have that the accused did not drop the books? Well, he only bought 3 books, or borrowed 3 books. The evidence is right here. And there's receipt. From your books! Yes, the receipt details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day, but as you can see, only 3 books are listed. No! Therefore, Mr. Natsume would only have dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation, madam, cannot be relied upon. Grrr. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no! Oh no, oh no, no!
Objection.
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. There's, no liquid left in my cup. A fact that you know very well. You have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert detention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies? Would that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan is somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony. In every respect. Oh. You see, The matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say... Allow me to present another! One that shows the victim's hand. The updated autopsy report. I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. The Lion's Pride. Isn't that the book that the Garridibs had? I don't remember exactly, but that was the one that had like the love letter in it when they were freaking out. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the... I swear to God, if the woman in this photo is Joan Garridib, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! Yes. Yes! Order! There, you see? Look at that! Look! Yes. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir! Patricia's always right, sir! Bum, 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 bum. Let us study the receipts you're always clamoring on about, shall we? Mrs. Beate, the titles once again, if you please. Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur Lecoq. Canterbury Yearnings. A meal for Gabelou, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beate's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, ROLY? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir! Flawless, sir! Patricia is flawless! But there are only 3 books, and Mrs. Beate mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print. I'm sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book. I wonder what became of that 4th book. It's in the frickin' Garridib's house! Right? Was that not the book that had, like, the secret love letter in it? The Lion's Pride? Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here, as evidence. Oh, okay, so he has it. Okay. Huh. You will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel. My pleasure, my lord. The 4th book has been entered into the court record. Da-da-dum-da-dee. The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious long route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, Pat! Marry me, Pat! So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you do now? Okay, wait. Let's investigate this new evidence, this book. What happened here? What is, like... Why is there just, like, a hole in it? Oh, look at this! The book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. Huh. A book. Recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag? It's the fire from the stupid Garradib house. Can I open the book?
Objection!
I'm not done yet! No, my learned friend. It's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Dude, she's so much more forward than Maya ever was with, like, the cases. Or with like, like, she talks for me. It's an interesting thing. You know, insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yo, based, he's vouching for her in the courtroom. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so court will hear you. Go ahead, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo? What do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their learnings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. Okay, examine the new evidence. I already did. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Ugh. What would happen? What would happen if Herlock Sholmes took Compound V from the boys? I don't know. He'd get, like, super deduction? That's a very out-of-pocket question. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight and has been overlooked. It's
Take that!
the burning on the book is sus. The evidence in question is what we can see from the... That is not what I clicked on. Huh? Oh, okay, yeah. Hey. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time. as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. I just had a really stupid idea. What if... Hear me out here. What if Joan Garridib chucked a knife at her husband during their fight and it went out the window and stabbed that lady? I swear to God, if that's what happened, I'm gonna... When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate. You will identify this clue at once. Oh, yes, my lord. It's, So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue? It's the burn mark on the back.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What are you... Good gracious! It's been burned to a crisp. If Susato took Compound V, her Susato takedowns would become Super Susato takedowns. She'd become like, Susato takedown! And then she'd just like body slam the prosecutor. It's been burned to a crisp. So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh, were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the sorry tome has suffered? Oh, you're good. Well, we're presenting this book as evidence, Casey, that is, clearly, it's got a burn mark in the back, and I'm pretty sure that means it was at the scene of the Garridib, like, stupid porcupuffer lady, like, domestic abuse fight that we, like, exposed in the last stream. Also, I'd like to mention that that same lady, Joan Garridib, is in the courtroom right now. She's on the jury for some reason. Even though she's clearly connected to things. So I don't know why she's on the jury, but, you know, I think the book can prove its owner is not the victim. For some reason, that book was in the victim's hands. I'm just trying to figure out why. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth. Why is she on the jury? I don't know. Bruce Fairplay from the last trial is also on the jury. And also on the jury are two people who were within the city block where the crime happened. Random jury, my ass. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it was obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand is yet to be unanswered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly... Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this book? A woman who is on the jury. Conflict of interest. Can we kick her off the jury? The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garridib. The landlords. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence, or some kind of fate at work. I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garridip herself, who should not have been able to be here. Because she knows the accused. She literally knows the accused. Stupid. Oh, my goodness. Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garridip's wife. I'm his maid. God damn it, woman. Oh, things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garridip's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir. This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? Who let her in the jury? You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed in the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garridip's house. Good Lord! What sort of incident, Counsel? A fire, my lord. Glad to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The body furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. I knew they mentioned The Lion's Pride. I was wrong about, like, what book it was, but... His face! His face! The Lion's Pride. By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me. This is risible! All you've told the court is that the... I don't know what he means by that, but I'm gonna say it like he's pissed off. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garridip was considerably enraged. Apparently she continued to attack Mr. Garridip even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you discord? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. However, she does constantly pull on my scarf. Oh, they have matching scarves, I just noticed. They are kind of cute. You know what? I'll give it to them. They're better than the Garridips, I'll say that much. Had all my favorite novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. From Horse Show. What? Then the wife started hurling things at me. I was always back under heavy enemy fire. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books through it. Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime? Then why was it in her hand? No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there is no report of the Garridip's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garridip household. But it is not conceivable. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time, and not even remotely? Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. The bench postulates this scenario in all seriousness, Counsel. Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garridip's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. I'm not sure how it affects the crime at all, but... whatever, man. That's quite enough. that him or who? Oh, god damn it. That's quite enough. Well, I hope everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward, a mean coward. Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you, that was never my intention. Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud, simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too right. These two fucking... Why are Bruce Fairplay and Joan Garrett on the jury board? Can we get them both kicked off? They both have a bias against me. They both literally have a bias against me. And they're not going to change their votes. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But, think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could have possibly stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. I'm aggressively pointing to make my point, and he ran away too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry, what's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Geeks? In truth, my lord... I'm out of pink drink. Unfortunate. In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily... In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. Perhaps I wasn't patient enough with my drink, that's why it's empty now. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... Oh my god, I love it when he slams his foot on the table. If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time? I can put my foot on the desk whenever I want, because I'm a Chad! In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the... Oh,
Guilty.
No. Okay.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Come on,
Guilty.
somebody...
Guilty.
I love how quickly you grow to hate having a jury. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool gameplay mechanic, but... Oh, God, they're painful. That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up. Miss Susato, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. Another summation examination? Okay, this is the... No, wait. This is the chance where we point out that two of these witnesses are literally biased against me. Like, this is the point where we turn things on Joan Garrett and be like, you're sus. You're sus. You shouldn't be allowed to even be on the frickin' jury. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anyone. I intend to uncover the truth. To be continued. Part of me wants to stop there, but also, like... No, we're not gonna stop. I am gonna take a quick, like, recharge food break. I'll be back soon. Snack break! Hello. Hello. I've returned. I've returned from break. This has been an interesting case so far. I think unless something big changes in the third section, in the last section, it's probably my least favorite case so far. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just the first case where I'm like annoyed by some of the characters. Pat and ROLY are like minorly annoying, and of course Joan Garadib is fucking awful. Uh, so like by it's not that this case is bad. It's still in like the upper tier of A. It's still probably an A tier case. It's that literally the rest of the cases have been S tier cases. This is the first A tier one in the game. Uh, also, I got pretzels. Yeah, by Ace Attorney standards, it's pretty good. It's just by this game's super high standards, it's the lowest. I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that let's do it. I'm gonna like not read this. The juror's contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider, I do declare. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed, can it? Deary me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring him some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Gave him the sneezes. Didn't he say he sneezed earlier? Like after falling over? Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. I'm sorry if you can hear me chewing. I need a snack break. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So, the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. I really should not be eating in the courtroom. Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? I just spit on my monitor. Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. There I was thinking this might be hard. I have no fucking name or... That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared. Oh yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Discombobulate! Recombobulate! Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Miss Garadib. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadib's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. If I pull my mic away, can you hear me chewing? Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadib and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. Alternative explanation to how the victim was stabbed.
Hold it!
We're pressing Joan. We're pressing Joan. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. Oh, interesting. Okay. We didn't have this last time, did we? The panning across to the other people? Whee! There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. She just almost hit that guy. Well, he brought it upon himself! He's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly bad, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrett. Never you mind that! The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Dude, he just keeps smacking her. Well, she just keeps smacking. It's almost... Oh god, is he married to a domestic? Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring him some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. So is he also being domestically abused? You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down on the Thames tomorrow morning. You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, that. I will say, the further we get into the trial, the more they're not playing the domestic abuse for funnies. Like, they're actually taking it somewhat seriously now. It was just in the Great Deduction with Herlock that it was like, aha, cartoony, aha, she pulled a coffee on him. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Hopeful. I wonder if Mr. BEATE will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. And there we go, she's pointing out the similarity with them. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. This case is just full of domestic abusers and abusees. Very fun. Gave me this.
Hold it!
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry? What's that? You have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously. I love his, like, sad face. It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puffs to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. You can't see my facial expressions, but I just did a big eye raise. The windows. Open the windows. Add that to your testimony. Bruce Fairplay is, like, useless here. Okay,
Objection!
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do. How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. But yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke and fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garridib household. And Mr. Garridib had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh my hat! Oh god.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Aggressively pours coffee. Oh my god. Mrs. Garridib! Oh dear me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable. Inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. Fuck this woman. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garridib's formal statement. Now you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. But I'd forgotten. Wait, why can I still pit her against people? The window could have been open. Interesting. So that didn't actually get them to change their votes. It just changed their testimony. The window could have been open when the woman was throwing books. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Now, you mentioned it, yes, the window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true. Winter house fires are dire. You have to open windows to clear the smoke. That's when the chill gets you to. So 3 testimonies have been changed. But I don't know what they... Let's press her again. The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garridib told us he had been reading. Oh, well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it. You're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man! I didn't remember! At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as you well know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Now, why does he find that weird? It's interesting because we haven't changed any of their votes yet. We're just, like, changing their testimonies. What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. Ah, I was listening to what this granny was saying, brought all floating back. And she's gonna smack him for calling a granny. Yeah. Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrett,able the maid, I'll have you know. Yeah, she's only like, she's actually not a granny. Isn't she only like, she's 38. How is this woman only 38? And how is he only 46? Weird. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that he's not so used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I'd just earned that day. And I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny. It dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. Did I just hear thunder? Are the storms coming back? I know it was like really storming earlier today here. You haven't heard half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. Could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. But an inch deep. No words. Just terror. See, now the domestic abuse is not a punchline anymore. I could see it, smell it then, you know? That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, ain't it? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined.
No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is, well, so uncivilized.
Yeah, Susato is based. She would not throw things at people.
At least attack with honor.
Using a bow or they'll think, okay. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack?
Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Well, alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. The kitchen knife. Okay. I swear to God, was my theory from an hour ago correct? Did she get the knife thrown into her from the window? Okay, what the hell? Is it storming again? Yep, that would be thunder. Well, we're gonna keep playing. Hopefully my internet doesn't go down or anything like that. Okay.
Objection!
These two statements have a deeply significant connection. Good grief! You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, Counselor, at once. Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. Spooky thunder. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garridib's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garridib household to the street below. What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garridib could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Oh, she's scared she accidentally killed this woman. How was I correct like an hour ago when I said that? Why did I have to be correct? Now you listen here, you Eastern gunner. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it? Thank you, Thunder. Can you like zap Bruce Fairplay with lightning, please? I don't want him here anymore. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. I don't.
Bro, I screamed. Wait, why did you scream? What did you scream about? I scream for ice cream. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household to the scenic room is the knife.
Take that!
When you predicted it? Oh my god. Well, as soon as they were talking about like a book getting thrown out the window, I was like, why not a knife? Like, why not, right? That would explain how he saw somebody get stabbed at a like since the beginning when they were saying, "Oh, there was nobody else out here, but I saw her get stabbed." I was thinking maybe somebody threw something at a window, like just in the back of my brain that was an idea. And then that's increasingly becoming likely. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Oh! Good lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man! My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garridib were in the throes of an argument. Coleman has foresight. No, I'm just big brain. I'm just smart. Mrs. Garridib was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against a window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that! The book was found in the victim's grasp! Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in a hand? Oh, even my missus hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit. There are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Mrs. Garridib, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Also, can we take her off the jury stand now? Like, I'm literally accusing her of the crime. Can we put her in the witness booth and like take her out of the jury stand? The thunder agrees with me. Can you guys hear the thunder? Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh! Ah! Ah! Why, Lord. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madame. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. Nor do I think the granny did it, mind. Why doesn't he think the granny did? Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. I'm still not entirely convinced the granny did it either. Like, I kind of hope it's a little more complicated. We did it. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Okay, but at what point... Why did the old man change? Weird. At what point, though, like, if everybody votes innocent except Mrs. Garridib, do we still have to keep going? Like, she literally... Now then, Lord Van Cheeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine. First few sips are bitter enough. I should get like some actual wine to drink during these streams. But what follows is so repugnant. It's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Cheeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Ford? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Gerardib household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Gerardib's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Wait, really? Oh, okay. Let me see. 15 yards. 45 feet? Are yards something different in this old British measuring system? The road's 45 feet wide? I mean, I guess. Could be. 14 meters. Oh. It's a little further than I'd imagined. And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having pretentious significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smouldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Oh my god. Maybe let's pick our battles here? My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes, go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Gerardin, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Does that mean she's not in the jury anymore? How does this work? Like, what are the odds that a juror gets called to trial? This is why you don't put people on the jury who live in the same fucking building as the... Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror. Order! Order! Well, this is highly irregular. This is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Oh my god. Ah! An unnecessary. Lord Van Zeeks, did you just kill someone in the audience? I mean, if you were able to aim that perfectly at that dude's head, then, you know, it's not impossible that she threw the knife across the street. There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth to it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. Right? It's been like half an hour since we talked to the witnesses. What say you, witnesses? Oh. Yes, sir! Constable ROLY BEATE, reporting for duty, sir! Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you. But no more. Oh, ROLY, my hero. You make me swoon. Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request. Oh. And order the witnesses in the stand to testify. God damn it, I don't need info from these stupid idiots. I need Joan Gerardib's ass on the ground. Yes, sir! case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garrett house are top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty ROLY was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. Ahem. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir! Sorry, but what exactly is a top-hinged casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course. Sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garretib's room. Alright, I'll try. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Oh. I see. So our entire theory is bupkis. But it's funny that I predicted it ahead of time, though. Or, like, guessed it. I mean, I guess she could still... Depending on the angle, maybe the knife could go, whew, but the book would be... I don't know. It's unlikely. I did not mean to click that. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay. A metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents its opening? Absolutely correct, sir! In other words, if a book or knife were to be thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. I mean, technically, if you threw it at a very specific angle, you could probably get it to go through here and not hit the pane, but that makes my idea even more unlikely. No. You see the problem, then. Good. Your education in windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. That can't be... Did you see that, ROLY? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. I will say it. I already said it earlier. I'll say it again. These two are fucking scary. Absolutely scary in bed. How is this the dude who looks like 14 probably has like a monster dick. He's 23, by the way. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. I'm so tired. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. You see, sir...
Hold it!
By which you mean they don't open full. Is that correct? Yes, sir! They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see. So they're restricted as to how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where objects would have fallen.
Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
And what would that be, sir?
How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garretib's house is furnished with?
Ah, well, sir, that's...
Very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat?
Sorry?
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible, but we were just so lucky it didn't happen on ROLY's beat. It was so close, you see.
Oh? I hadn't realized.
Oh, yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between ROLY's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
If it happened... Did it happen on the other side of the street? I did. Okay. I don't... Probably not. It seems a little egregious.
Oh, yes, that's right. The reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrative household yesterday. The house is on my beat, you see. Sir?
Huh. Really was cutting it close then.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrative household is on your beat, does that mean the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrative's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat.
I see. I was unaware of that.
Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after all. Why?
Was she attacked on the other side of the road? Actually? Is that the, like, twist? Extraordinary people are Bobbies. Oh, God. No more Bobby dialogue. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is... See, you know this is my least favorite case in the game because the first one where I'm mashing through text I don't want to read. I do that all the time when I'm playing the other games. I've done that all the time playing the other games. When there's, like... When they're rambling about the same thing for the 8th time. I think perhaps we should make sure that we have that information officially on record.
Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately.
What even just got added? Reporting Officer Rory Beat. Border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. The pavement where the victim was found lies just outside Constable Beat's beat. Constable Beat's beat, goddamn.
Hold it!
So, how much more do you think I have of this case? How much more, like, wrangling do I have to do with these people? But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Roly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star.
Sorry?
The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Can't it guide you to answer the question?
If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have... Oh my god, let Roy be in his... Oh my god, you two.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you?
Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir.
Didn't they just say they were looking at the night star? I don't like these two. I do not like these people. I don't think they're lying. That's the weird thing. Is like they're not even like unreliable witnesses. They're just like annoying.
So the poor woman ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right?
That's right, yes. If I had been on Roly's beat, if it had been on Roly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. Can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Roly told me the way, only sort of got a little lost in the way. Patricia, my darling, that is why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching.
These two.
Oh, Pat. Oh, Roly.
Oh, please. So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my ROLY was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir.
Hold it!
Let's just press this. Nothing to report? That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garridiv household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this gentleman. Yeah, how did the knife end up in her back, and how did the book end up in her hand? No matter how far it is across the road or how that window opens, Mr. Garridib's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it? You're right. And then there was Mrs. Garridib's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something, I'm sure of it. You're right again. We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. We'll get to the bottom of this one way or another, I swear. Yes. So this is the new info we've got, that it's just outside of Constable BEATE. But I don't see how that contradicts any of this. If it had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I pressed this one already, right? Yeah. They were looking for their lucky star, but the sky is starless. Okay. Fast forward. Oh, I can press the right mouse to go back as well. Left mouse forward, right mouse back. Alright, let's press this one, I guess.
Hold it!
How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principle. Oh my god, I don't care. So, okay. Blah, 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 blah. Well, both my tired eyes, admittedly, sir. Oh, you're so manly. Of course. Oh, God. Shut up. Shut up. Coleman hates romance. No, none of this is what I meant. What did I even ask him? I meant, how can you say for certain this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garridib? Wait, what did he think I was saying? This moron. Oh, a London Bobby is good for... God, you stupid bastard! I see, sir. Should have said so earlier, sir. Yes, well, could you answer the question? That was such a waste of time. Oh my god. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garridib's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes? I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the Great British... Oh. Dude, what does... Oh my god. Any of this have to do with anything, sir? So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. You're giving me... Okay, well then that's going to be evidence I have to present, I guess. I have it. He's giving me his warrant card. Okay, cool. Can I ask you something, please? Yes. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. I'm not doubting you because you're a woman. I'm doubting you because you're a moron. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. She's girl bossing. She's girl bossing too hard right now. No. No. No, I don't. Gaslight. Gatekeep. Girl boss. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. Her sense of direction is a little... Okay, so much new shit was just added. We got a new testimony and a new piece of evidence. Like, what is happening? Hold on, let me look at this stupid warrant card. Patrolling officer, policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. The Salvager's Code! Salvager's Code, rule number 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item number 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Okay. Wait, what? Metropolitan Police Regulations. I don't want any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they're discovered. When his crime is discovered and on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Okay. I don't know what that is relevant for yet, but I guess we'll find out. Sense of direction. What the hell does that mean? Were they on the other side? Are they this stupid? They can't be this stupid. Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us. I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh, yes. Well, it's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to eat ROLY. He gets ever so cross.
Excuse me.
If they were on the other side of the street and they just actually didn't know... Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way the night? This better not be my foresight activating again, I swear to God. Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over for mine. She was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rory, you're such a tease. What? The reason you were so long was because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rory's so romantic. Patrol. Yeah, I get it. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. I get it. It's bad. He saved up with farthings and the pennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it. How much longer do I have to interrogate these two? I don't... No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked... Oh, God. What are these two idiots hiding? I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. He's pissed. I don't like these two characters. I don't know why. They're not like Joan Garridib where I'm like supposed to hate them. I just hate them. I don't know why. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Miss Beat about the bouquet. They just feel like such distractions. They're on the same tier for me as like Lotta Hart, you know? Like just this annoying character. These annoying dumbass characters that aren't funny and just make everything take longer. Mrs. Beat, the bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. Ugh. Van Zeeks hasn't talked in like 15 minutes. He's like, I just want to fucking go home. Stupid morons. What happened was, I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Okay, wait. Are we still on the same cross-examination? Jesus Christ. They've amended this testimony like 5 fucking times.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset when we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet. Wait, what? They ran over. I feel like the body is on the other side of the road. Was on the other side. Like, did anybody else besides these two baboons see the body? Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable. Okay, there was another constable. Okay, so the body was actually where they said it was. Maybe. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. Baboons. Yes, I did just call them baboons. So, your Baron is showing. The Baron is just me whenever I don't want to listen to anyone anymore. Like, I remember playing a game on you know how I play like online Mafia sometimes, right? I remember playing a game of that where it was like they assign you like it was the Danganronpa characters, and I got Byakuya, and I literally roleplayed being pissed off and annoyed with the entire town the whole game as town, and then I just started having whisper private conversations with the only other smart player. That's how Mafia works. That's why I like Byakuya and Danganronpa. He's just like young Baron. In case you need young like upper class, young what's the word? Like trustee baby, young like trustee baby Baron. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. That's right, silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. Can't think how it got there, I really can't. Did someone move the body between when they found it? So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Yes, indeed. Isn't it? But the worst part of it is I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the... Oh my god. They have one combined brain cell. That beautiful rose Roly bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Roly bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose? Tell us, Lord Vantage, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garridib household. In front of the Garridib's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Could I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Thank you, based judge. Alright. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial, do you hear me? Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene, but... Okay, so now we've gotten... The trial has been amended like 3 different times, and we've gotten 2 pieces of evidence just within this one cross-examination. What is happening? Alright, let's investigate this stupid rose. Why is it wrapped in a newspaper? An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? Never seen one of these before. Do not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo. I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherub. Oh my god, I don't care. Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. Alright, well that was pointless. I want to investigate the newspaper, dude. Or this thing, I guess that'll work too. It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh. I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. Looks so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look some sort of fancy cake. Huh? Okay. This is the same dialogue. I thought I was clicking something else. Alright, so there is nothing interesting about this piece of evidence. Great. The shock of seeing the stab movement caused Mrs. Beatty to drop the rose where she stood. I don't know what to present here. I've already pressed all of these statements like 100 times. I like that sound. Why is S moving it? Oh, S is down, right. I like that noise. Okay, I need help. I don't know what to do here. Hint? I wish this game had hint coins. I like that the latent crossover had hint coins you could use in the trials. Okay, so clearly the rose is something. Dropped her bouquet. I know what's going on here, and it's so stupid, but I don't know what to present to, like... I'm gonna talk to Susato. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all this? The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened. So am I! I just don't know what to present so I can prove it. It's like becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious book. I'm about to blow this thing wide open once I figure out which testimony to present the evidence on. Okay, let me save, and then just start presenting shit. Can I just present the bouquet here and, like argue my point?
Objection.
Oh god, the music's still going. He didn't take his eye off of the crime scene for one moment, huh? Is that where I present the rose? Like, oh, if he didn't take his eye off the crime scene, why didn't he... I'm confused. Okay, there we go. You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 minutes or so you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. What? What do you mean to say? Oh, yeah, yeah, no, because the body was moved. In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry blue can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Meager? But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why ROLY didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garridib's book, Mr. Garridib's copy of The Lion's Pride, thrown out of the window by his wife. Should have been here, and yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, but in fact, it was actually found here. The body was moved. Something was flipped. Oh, God. There's no logical explanations for these things unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my ROLY's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garridib's come around. All the annoying characters have come to... You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garridib. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called... tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. but the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Oh, shoot. Who? I don't know who. Fuck. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? Is it ROLY? I don't think it's Joan Garrideb. She doesn't... Is it ROLY? Now, why would he do that?
Take that!
Maybe to avoid having to do his job? Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable ROLY BEATE. It was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. BEATE, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. Lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. If that was true, Constable BEATE would have seen him do it. I saw you vent! Oh. That's the first Among Us reference I've made all stream. New record! And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Well, I guess I said something was sus looking earlier, but like, literally the dialogue said suspicious looking, so I don't know if that counts. It was after the defendant had fled the scene. Like, the game made the Among Us reference, not me. Well. First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. And now you incriminate a policeman as well. Oh my god, that thunder was so, like, timed. Like... But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason why anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable BEATE had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruto, I'm running out of steam. Is there half an hour of this trial? If there's more than like half an hour left, please let me know. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a police officer. If you're mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. He wanted to hide where the victim fell, so we moved the victim's body across the street, where the victim fell to the ground. There isn't a lot left, but there isn't a little. Oh, great. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean, where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road, we saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? Once again, I called it. I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. So am I. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nepalese friend. Where are you proposing the crime actually took place that evening? Right here. No, but that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garridim's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good Lord! Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim himself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary.
But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume? Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek says it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. Accompanied by ominous thunder and lightning. How do you respond? Constable ROLY Beat. I like that we went from accusing Joan Garridim to accusing ROLY Beat. Because there's just all these freaking sus idiots messing with what would have been a very... making this thing so overcomplicated. Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh my god. What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Good. Good golly, jumping Jehoshaphat! Order! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all of this?
Oh, ROLY, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one, too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman.
And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory.
This judge really is a lot nicer and a lot more based than the regular Ace Attorney judge. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you would better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. Did he literally just move it so he would have to do less work? That's what I'm guessing.
Take that!
I realize that I am a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learnt that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding job work in the world. For example, God, the thunder is cracking out there. Keeping the peace, keeping the peace. Why does it sound like cowboy all of a sudden? I don't care. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh, yes. It was our first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal, when he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him, what must have gone through the man's mind? But, sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations. He wanted to go out with his wife. He didn't want to get caught up in this shit. Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said. It's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It's the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Holy shit! This dude that looks like a child is so, like, weirdly, like, intense sometimes. Stay close to me, Pat! The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. That line has no reason to go so hard. It doesn't! Why did he curse God? I'm coming around on these two. That was the first time in my job as a policeman that I'd ever cursed God. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and where that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on a speed, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box, fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat, so you'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Meersham Street, and then... Bro, can you hear the thunder? It went off like the second all the characters stopped talking. Dun dun dun. Dramatic reveal. Rory Beat is, ROLY Beat. I keep wanting to call him Rory, because he just gives off a Rory. He gives off Rory vibes. I'm Okay, chill. Chill with the... I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. He really does. He really does. He really does what? Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction? Just across... He really does seem like a Rory. He totally does. Just across the street, to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring Beate's care. Oh, you see, I thought... But I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? No, of course he did. Otherwise, my ROLY never would have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Ah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, ROLY, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, ROLY. Okay, these two are kind of hilarious. I kind of love that this trial's like an extra hour long because this doofus moved the crime scene. Chad behavior, to be honest. Like, I'm an overworked police officer and I want to go out on a date with my wife and I don't want to do my job. So I'm just going to move the crime scene across the street. Giga Chad move. Absolute Giga Chad move. Not even mad. Not even mad. That's hilarious. Apologizes for losing the rose, not for moving the crime scene. I do not regret my actions. Giga Chad. Absolute Giga Chad. Wait, what did he ask? How many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir, definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book there, when all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean? Oh, well, sir, it's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. See, and he moved everything over, but tried to recreate the crime scene as accurately as possible, just across the street. So like he wasn't actually trying to like hinder the investigation. He was just trying to get out of work. Absolute Giga Chad. You're sure it was this book the victim was holding? Oh yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Your Honor, I'm what's known as a male wife, but that's okay, because I work hard, and being a male wife is kind of poggers. What am I saying right now? The 4th book's information has been updated in the court record. Flash flood warning for this area. Good thing I'm in my apartment. As long as it's not a tornado warning, I don't care. We had some of those earlier today. Storms are crazy right now. My hands look like this, so hers can... I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There was only the 2 people at the scene. Pat and me saw it both happen. Whatever which way you look at it, I thought it had to be the fellow who run off who done it. I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Von Zeeks. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir! Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my ROLY? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Okay, they're actually wholesome. Like, I thought they were sus. Like, somehow the more sus they acted, the more wholesome they became. He will be executed. No, not ROLY. No, you'll never take me alive! Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson into your mind. ROLY BEATE will be waterboarded tomorrow morning. Personally, by me. Entirely out of spite. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Ah! Never again, sir? You mean to say? Leave. Now. This trial is not yet over. Sir! Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Von Zeeks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted, the prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. We will name this other person who could have perpetrated. Joan motherfucking Garrett. Bro, I'ma do the Wordle. Bro, I'ma do the Wordle on stream after this. The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness. Once again, my assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrett. Me? Me? Oh, dearie me!
Objection!
That request has already been denied.
Objection!
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrett, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrett. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrett. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? Oh! I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there and all that regalia said members of the jury needed to testify, didn't he? Conveniently,
Objection.
yes. No! I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. Here's another Von Zeeks actually wants to solve the mystery moment. But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? Based Van Zeeks. No, keep it. Basic Van Zeeks. That's funny. What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Miss Garrett. Now do listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it! Oh, the poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop! Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Then take the stand, juror. Oh! Now he wants me to cross-examine her. That's funny. The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Von Zeeks. Yo, he's already becoming based! I'm going to have to testify. But... Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full, unadulterated testimony. And mark my words, in this court of law, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsel? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. This is such a strange feel. I don't know what I'm doing right now. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. And that is where I am going to stop, because I do not have the energy to deal with Joan Garadib's bullshit tonight. This song's a bop, though. I'm gonna do the Wordle while this music plays. Jack, did you get the Wordle? Among Us. Bro, you failed the Wordle? Oh, shit. Okay, O in the middle. Baron? No, wait, that's not. Is it? Oh, God. Again? Wait, didn't you fail yesterday's, too? With the there? Who? That's not a word? Screw off. Whore. Frick off, whore. Okay, well. Okay. Ploush? Plosh? Wait, cloth. Let's try cloth. Oh, based. Flosh, closh, blosh. It can't be osh, though. Off, maybe? Floff? Sloth? That doesn't seem right. Let me save the game. Oh wait, I literally already did. I'm just a dick. This case is very good, and I'm well aware I probably only have like an hour left of it, but we've already been going for 4 hours. I do not have the energy for a Joan Garridib cross-examination. I had a feeling we were gonna cross-examine her eventually, and that's where I was planning to stop this whole time. Homestead? Sloth? I know it can't be tea, but... Slosh! Gamers, rise up! Wordle gamers! Okay, what am I doing right now? I hate you. That, to be fair, that is a hard word. Like, slosh is not the first thing I would think of. Especially with the 2 S's. Like, that's pretty difficult. I'm just a big brain gamer. Also, I'm gonna cut stream now. Wait, I already saved. Why do I always do this? Just close the game. Anyway, good stream. Next time, which... No, actually, it won't be tomorrow. I have too much stuff going on. But sometime this week, probably. Yeah, sometime this week, I'll get back in there and bust Joan Garridib's ass. Freaking stupid. Worst character. I came around on ROLY and Pat though. Like, they're funny. Like, the fact that he moved an entire crime scene so he wouldn't have to do his job and could go on a date with his wife instead. Absolute big brain Giga Chad play. No! I am not busting all over her ass. That is not what I said. Joan Garridib is sus. Also, how the game says she's only 38? That's a lie. That's what she tells people her age is. Anyway, I'm cutting stream now, actually. Arrivederci!